Hey everyone, I'm Adora Bao. I'm a full-time tattooer and artist, but my journey to get here wasn't exactly straightforward. I actually wanted to become a tattoo artist when I was in high school, but life took me on a completely different path. One that involved going to college and working in corporate tech, and then trying to survive as a young mother. But as wild as it sounds, everything led me right back here to doing what I love. So today we are gonna have a story time. I get asked this question a lot from clients, friends, new people online all the time on how I got into tattooing. Did I always want to do it? What happened? When, what, where, how, why? So I'm going to share the story about how I walked away from my corporate job to become a full-time artist and maybe inspire someone or anyone out there who's feeling stuck to take a chance on themselves. Okay, so let's talk about my artistic background. Growing up, I was always into art. My mom was a preschool teacher at that time, and she did a ton of arts and crafts with me. I have been doodling ever since I could hold a crayon in my nubby little fingers. And my older siblings, they were really into anime and drawing. So, like drawing, especially like in the very heavily inspired by anime manga, it just really came natural to me. And in school, I was always the art friend, the person who everyone wanted to be in their group projects so they can have the coolest art in the entire class. I was always creating, and then in high school, that is when I really got into tattoos. I just knew when I got older, I wanted to do something artistic for a job. You know how they always ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do? And like to me, artist, like what do you, I don't know, back in that day, it's like, I don't know, I just want to do art some way, shape, or form. Do they even make money? I don't know. But my friends would always ask me to draw on them with Sharpies to give them fake Sharpie tattoos. And I would. And so there'd be like a bunch of people just walking around with like Sharpied art of mine on them throughout school. And I never really thought about becoming a tattoo artist. And I didn't really think it was like an option back then. Around that time, it was like Ink Master was just coming out and everything. Yeah, I'm aging myself, but yeah, no, it was very like that industry was just so mysterious. And like as a high school, I'm like, I never really thought of this as an occupation, but like all of my friends were like, you should totally become tattoo artists, blah blah blah. Like I'd get a tattoo from you tomorrow and all of that stuff. So maybe, I don't know, I was maybe like 16 or 17, and my friends were starting to get their first tattoos at a local shop because they were like already 18 or getting consent from their parents or whatever. And I would always tag along with them to hang out and see how it was and just be there. I loved watching the artists work, and I remember thinking to myself, ooh, this is what I want to do. And I actually started talking to the artists at the shop. The more I went, obviously the more I got to know the shop owners, which it was like a family owned business. And I was like talking to them about like an apprenticeship, and they said that my art was good. Obviously, keep practicing and all that. They said maybe like when I get out of high school, I can have an apprenticeship there. Um, but here is the tea. Now, I have to remind you, the industry back then was totally different. Like, call HR, bro. Call HR. Oh my gosh. The more I went to this studio, the more I found out like the real vibes of that place. The moment I knew it was not gonna work was this one time, this dude that I was friends with, we went to the shop that day. One of the artists there, I can't remember if it was like the dad or the son or the uncle or whatever, whoever was tattooing that day, but they convinced this dude friend to get a symbol, the symbol that the dude with the mustache really likes. Yeah, yeah. The artist, first off, how do you get convinced to do that? What the hell? But yeah, no, that dude friend, he got it. Like what? How do you? And the artist like, oh, it'd be so cool, it'd be so funny, man, haha, for shits and giggles. And like, no, dude, that's permanent. What are you doing?
Stop it. Get some help.
And then just like that, all of the dots connected. The picture was painted. I was like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. Hell no. I'm not liking being there. I'm not being stuck there. I'm not having a friendship there. And I left and I never went back. And I don't that dude friend, yeah, I stopped being friends with him. But so at that time there were only two shops in my neighborhood. Mind you, I was young. I couldn't drive. I didn't have anyone to drive me anywhere. I was broke as hell, and um, the other shop was ran by a dude who was known to be high on hard drugs, like majority of the time, and was tattooing. Like what? So so immediately that was already like a no go. So yeah, just the environment of it all and me like having a peek into the industry, my dream was like a little crushed. I was like, damn. I was uncomfortable. I did not want to have to enter into that industry being who I was and being like prey. No thanks. No thanks. Now that's a whole nother topic about what was wrong with the industry. But again, every industry has its problems. But the topic that we're talking about today is how I got into the tattoo industry. So that's what I'm talking about now. It's gotten a lot better. Don't get me wrong. There are still shitty people out there, as shitty people everywhere, but it's gotten so much better. Because if it didn't, I wouldn't be here. Let's get that straight. So I kind of let go of that dream, or just kind of like put it on the back burner. Like, I don't know. I was like, maybe if I find like the perfect shop, who knows? And I just accepted that I should just be responsible and do what society was telling me to do. Go to college, get a degree, live a good life. I went out to college not knowing what else I wanted to do. Who the hell knows what they want to do at 18? Like, can we stop telling our kids to go to college and like pick something, anything that will make money and then like do it? Because that's how they burn out or not commit or just get lost and depressed. Like, honestly, like, but anyways, so I went off to college because that's what everyone was telling everybody to do at that time. But I didn't just do it for myself. By the time I was a teenager, I became a mom, so I had real responsibilities. Yeah, that's like a whole nother story, okay? I needed to keep shit moving. I couldn't just think about what I wanted. I needed to create a stable life for me and my child. And at that time, like, just seeing the tattooing industry, it just felt way too risky for me to put myself into something like that. College was definitely like the safe choice. So I went to school. I changed my major a few times because, again, who knows what they want to do at 18? Then I did that for a few years. At some point, I was forced to pick between working and school. Obviously, me and my son have to eat. So there was a choice that was made. I chose work. Duh. I've worked so many different jobs in so many different industries. I feel like I have lived so many lives. But eventually, from just, getting more experience and moving to, like, getting a better job and getting more and blah, 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 I landed a corporate job that eventually led me into tech. So in this, like, era of my life, I spent maybe 6 or 7 years total in corporate America before I became a tattoo artist. Not just looking at tech, but I've also worked in different industries in the corporate world. And I'm not gonna lie, having that steady paycheck and benefits after struggling for so long felt amazing. I worked all the overtime that I could get, saved up money to build a better life for myself and my child. And all throughout this time, I never stopped drawing. I was still making art. I had sold at my first little vendor booth, and yeah, it was I wasn't doing it like as much as I am doing it now, but I would do it before, after work, or whatever. I'd maybe make like one post a month on Instagram. Yeah, not super consistent, but I was still doing it because I loved it. I was still actually trying to put together like a tattoo portfolio because, like, what if? And then obviously, like, having this like steady paycheck and my basic needs finally met. Yay, basic needs being met. Took a lot of years, but if you ever heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it just kind of goes into like having your the bare minimums met, and then so forth, and it goes all the way up to like self-actualization and like fulfillment and all that. I feel like because my basic needs were finally met after like, I don't know, a decade of freaking struggles of being an adult, I was finally able to like focus on fulfillment. And I think that's where everything really flourished. And I would say like a few years ago, that's when I actually started being more confident in myself and my abilities. And I started posting more because I used to have such a huge anxiety about posting my art and being fathomed. Like I didn't want anyone to even conceive me in the freaking internet. And but like I was always making, and I really loved photography, and I loved taking photos and doing all this stuff. But like I like only shared like 1% of things that I created, which is like so crazy, like thinking about it. And I was all just because like some fake fear. Well, it's fear fake, but it's fake worries and all this stuff. It was just fear holding me back. But now at this point in my life, I was not fearful anymore. I was like, you know, I, I know I'm that girl because like after all the shit that I was able to like pull myself by the bootstraps and propel myself from like having shit to like, oh my god, I'm okay. Like I don't know. I feel like that was like a huge confidence boost, and that translated into my art career because I was posting more. Um, maybe it was like a few times a month. It wasn't every day, and every day is hard. Even like right now, I've been trying to post more consistent, but I'm just now getting to that. But I wanted to take it further than like just a hobby. So that was when I started not only just drawing when I felt like it, I started to try to treat it like work. I know there's like a huge stigma around the word work, and people are like, oh, but then you won't enjoy it anymore. And I don't know. I'm a person who likes a challenge, and I'm a person who likes just a structure. So to me, framing my mindset around my creative projects as like work, it excuse me, I'm so burpy. My gosh. It just helped me be more consistent, is pretty much what I'm saying. And that has really helped me a lot. Okay, now the big thing everyone is like wondering, how the hell did you get into it? What happened? Well, so now I finally had like tattoo money, and I had been following this one local tattoo artist at the studio that I've been to before. And this tattoo artist, their books are like never opened, but sometimes they drop these flash drops. If you don't know what that is, it's like when artists draw designs and they make it available. This artist was like in high demand. The first time that I saw them do it, it like booked out immediately. I'm like, what the hell? Sure, I like tried to book it like 3 hours after they had said it's live, and I was like, damn, that was fast. So this second time around, I set an alarm. Pro tip: if you are trying to get a tattoo from an artist who is hard to book with, be flexible, but also like be on top of your shit. Because I remember they said, I'm gonna post this on Friday at noon or something like that. I was like, okay, got it. So like I put an alarm, and I remember being at work and my alarm went off. I'm like, oh my god, and I ran to the bathroom with my phone so I could book with them really quick. I was like, I need to be the first one in, and that way I don't have to worry about it. So that's what I did. I ran to the bathroom, and I just like on my phone on the toilet stall, like, and then I booked with it, and I'm like, and then like it was like, I remember like the website wasn't working, and I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong? And then like the artist was like postings like on their story just saying like, oh, because like, well, too many people were trying to like check out. So yeah, there was like a lot of people trying to book the same things, and everything was breaking the damn site, and they were like apologizing, like, oh, try again. And then I tried again, and I got through. So bro, like, you gotta hear the whole story. Okay, so I somehow got through after like trying like 3 times, and it finally went through. All of them were booked out immediately. Mind you, it was like noon on the dot that I was like checking out. So it was like as soon as they drop that link. Well, here comes the day, my scheduled tattoo appointment. And I forget why, but actually I remember like the night before, I think like I actually tried to reschedule. I don't remember. And I'd emailed them asking to reschedule, but they never read it. They never responded. So then when it came to my appointment day, I showed up anyways. And remember how I told you I've been at the studio before? This time it was dark and empty and spooky. It was really shady actually. No one else was there. And I remember this artist walking me to their room, and I just had to like, it's like a bigger studio, so it's like I'm going from like one half of the place and it's like really dark, and then like having to walk to the other half and it's really dark, and just seeing like their one ring light on and just like, illuminating their little room, and I'm like, what is this place? It was really shady actually. But I don't know. I was just like, well, I guess if I die, I die. I'm getting my tattoo. We got to tattooing. We were having a great time and hitting it off, just chit chatting. And I found out why it was so sketchy looking. So the studio that used to be there had moved, and instead of going with them, this artist took over this retail space as their own private studio. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes so much sense. I was like, where is everyone? What happened? There's like barely any furniture here. It's very dark. Why do you only have your ring light on? Like, are you okay? It was wild. But now I love talking to people about their passions and what they do and what they like to do. This is really interesting. I just remember casually asking like, so what are your next steps for your business? And they said that they were thinking about taking an apprentice or two. And I kid you not, like everything in me was screaming. I was like, shoot your shot, shoot your shot. Ah. And I was just like, I'm down if you are. And then they were just like, huh? Like so confused. She was just like, what? And so I was like, hold on. So I whipped out my phone. Now remember how I said I was taking my art more seriously and I was posting more? Well, because of that, now I had a pretty good portfolio already on my Instagram. So I was able to like whip that out and show them on the spot. And then they like look through it and they're like, oh my god, wow, that's actually really good. And they said like, oh, your style will like translate really well into tattooing. So after talking a little bit more, they actually invited me to join them for a tattoo flash event that they were going to be holding in a few months. And I was like, okay, cool. They said like, see how I vibe, see if I like the whole vibes, and I can network and see how they run the shop and everything. I was like, yes. So, well, here's the day. I came in, I helped set up, I greeted people, and I've worked a ton of customer service roles before. So, like, I was helping out the front desk and just helping people out, pass out raffles, yada yada yada, and just networking with like other artists there. So I worked a lot of customer service jobs before, so like floating around, helping out like clients and everything, and setting stuff up and whatever was easy breezy. I even got to network with other tattoo artists there, so that was really fun. I got to learn about their background, how they got into the industry, and I even got a tattoo from one of them, so that was sweet. And then at the end of the day, the owner at the studio liked my gig. They liked what I did, so they said I would start my apprenticeship in a month. So yay! Oh my gosh, that is how I got in. It was a mix of like the stars aligning, perfect timing, luck, confidence, and yeah, it's honestly was just timing. Like the stars aligned, everything was like checked off, and I was brave enough to shoot my shot and to go for it. So here I am. That's how I got my apprenticeship. Now, my case is not the usual method, but there are a bunch of people who did get their apprenticeships through networking and being prepared just like me. But this video isn't about how to normally get one. If you want to know how, tell me in the comments and I'll make a video about it. Let's get into a little bit more about like leading up to this moment now. So once I got the apprenticeship, mind you, I was still working my full-time tech job during the day, and I was learning how to tattoo like at night or on the weekends. If you're wondering how the fuck I managed to juggle a full-time tech job, being a mom, and a tattoo apprenticeship, well, I made a whole video about how I did it and what I would tell people to do. It'd be like up here, and I will probably link it in the description too. It was rough, but it was possible. That whole time, it was exhausting, and I was so in love with tattooing and just very passionate about learning that I was literally running off passion and vibes. So, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was on the right path. So now I'm just like a full-time artist now. So, what happened? What did I do with my job? I knew I couldn't keep ignoring what I actually wanted to do. I had spent years choosing stability over passion, and while that was the right choice for me at that time, I had finally reached a point where I knew I just had to take a leap. I was like, yo, like I could just live this very safe, mundane life, or I could take a chance on myself. And I felt like I don't know. I was like in my mid to late 20s thinking like, oh, I'm already so old, but like, bitch, what the you are not. You aren't like that. I don't even like to be the whole like, oh, you're too old to like do new things. I hope one day society stops being so ageist, because I feel like it's so prevalent. Um, I don't know. I felt, oh, too old. I have to do, or just I have to do this because now I'm such an adult now. No, like because you choose to bet on yourself and try to pursue a different industry and venture does not make you stupid. Although I do believe there are responsible ways to go about things and then irresponsible ways to go about things. And because I was a mom and like I had just gotten like our own place to live and everything, I was like, I have to be very responsible the way I go about this. Because I can't just be like, okay, I just quit everything with no backup plan and no savings and no nothing, and I fucked off and everything went down the hill. Yeah, no. No, I'm all about being practical, being responsible, and always having some kind of safety net in place, okay? And as a mom and an auntie, I'm gonna tell you guys, like, you guys, you know, think about how to do things responsibly. Obviously, don't be like too safe. There is such thing as too safe where you don't take any chances at all. But if you do take chances, you need to make sure that you're gonna be good. And I think I might make some more videos about how to take chances on yourself but responsibly, or even like how to quit your corporate job responsibly to pursue your passions. Because let's be real, it's hard out there and like no one ever tells you how. They just tell you to do it, but they don't ever tell you how. So maybe that'll be in the next couple of videos. So I finally quit my corporate job in summer of 2023. It was crazy. I was so anxious about it, but here we are. The thing is, quitting wasn't just about tattooing. It was about betting on myself as an artist, period. And I knew I wanted to tattoo. I knew I wanted to create. But I also wanted to just like build my brand finally. Like I have been wanting this life for so long, since high school. Like I had been dreaming about just doing what I'm doing today, which is like why even like on the bad days now, I don't ever like try to dwell too much on like the today sucked or oh this month sucked, because I know like a decade ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, I was so hoping for this very moment. And I am like so grateful for that, because I think I used to be in this trap where it's like you always want more and then you always want more. And I'm learning to like, well, I have learned, and there's learning never stops, but to just like, appreciate where I am now, because like when I really look at it, this is like where I wanted to be and what I wanted to be doing like fresh out of high school. If I like went back in time and like, hey, look, this is me now, high school me would be like, what? Who are you? Yeah. So, I'm just grateful to be right here, right now where I am, and continue building and continue growing. And let me tell you, being self-employed is not easy. You are responsible for everything. There's no bi-weekly paychecks, no bills and benefits. If you don't work, you don't get paid. But at the same time, I had spent my entire life, again, adapting and figuring things out, being in survival mode. And I had already overcame so much. So it's like, now it's just like a new kind of overcoming. Now, I'm not just a tattoo artist. I am first an artist who tattoos, also a content creator, small business owner, family lady. Tattooing is a huge part of my life, but so is creating art outside of tattooing, making prints, stickers, hopefully more merch and stuff in the future. And then I also started my YouTube channel to share my journey, my experiences, and hopefully inspire other creatives out there to take a chance on themselves. All in all, I never thought I'd be here, to be honest, especially like after my experience. And then like just kind of making a little portfolio here and there. And I don't know, I didn't really think that it was actually gonna happen, but everything lined up and I took a bet on myself and here I am. And I don't have a crazy amount of followers. I'm not banking with like, oh, I got this brand deal, $1 million or whatever. I am just trying to enjoy the process and the growth and savor where I am right now. Because again, 5 years ago me, 10 years ago me would be so shocked to see me where I am now, what I'm doing, and I'm just so proud. Because if there's one thing that I have learned, it's that you don't have to follow the traditional path to be successful. You don't have to stick to one thing forever. Success is subjective. You get to choose how that looks like for you. You can reinvent yourself, change careers, live so many lives, and still get to pursue what you actually love. I used to think success meant a degree, a corporate job, and being super uber rich. But now success to me is just waking up every day and doing what I love, creating art that resonates with people, meeting great people, and knowing that I built this life for myself. If you take anything away from this video, let it be that you are not stuck. Even if you've put years into something that doesn't fulfill you, that's okay. It's never too late to take a chance on yourself. There's no shame in hustling for stability. None at all. And maybe even if you are okay with the 9 to 5 and doing your hobby on the side, that is fine. I'm not here to tell you to quit and do your hobby, because if not, then you're not an artist or whatever. No, that's not the rhetoric that I want to spread. I never really thought I would get to be a tattoo artist and sell my work. And I had let that dream go before, thinking it just wasn't in the stars for me. But sometimes life brings things back around in ways that you don't expect, and you have to have the courage to go for it. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Like, let's go. Go after what you want. Try. Even if you fail, at least you tried. Because there's nothing worse than wondering, what if? Well, you wouldn't have to wonder what if you just tried. And failure doesn't mean that you failed. Failing at one thing doesn't mean that it's the end of it all. You just have to try again. There's no person out there who is living their definition of success who hasn't failed a million times, okay? Let's get to that. But thanks so much for watching, and if you made it this far, I appreciate you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if you want to see any of those videos, or whatever. Yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.